Hey, you have reached Scaling Systems Limited. How can I help you today?
Hey, my name is Peter. I would like to know more about this company.
Nice to meet you. Scaling Systems Limited provides custom systems and AI solutions like CRM, appointment booking systems, and tracking systems to help businesses scale in sales, marketing, and operations. Is there anything specific you'd like to know or need help with?
Well, that's very impressive and interesting. I would like to actually book a call with a representative of the company.
Great. Let's get that set up for you. Could you let me know your preferred date, time, and time zone for the call?
Absolutely. I'm looking to book a call at, for example, this Thursday, 3 p.m. Budapest time.
All right, just to confirm, you're looking to book a call for Thursday, January 23rd, 2025 at 3 p.m. Budapest time. I'll check the availability and send you a text message shortly. If that time isn't available, I'll propose an alternative. Could you also provide your email address so I can send the confirmation?
Yes, absolutely. My email address is...
Just to make sure I've got it right, your email address is that correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Awesome. I'll get everything sorted and send you a confirmation soon. If there's anything else you need, just let me know. Have a great day, Peter.
Thank you. Well, that was it. Now you know that today we are going to talk about AI inbound voice call agents. I'm super excited about this topic because I do think that business is going in the direction of least friction and least resistance. And I believe that literally writing down things is going to go out of business, and then voice is literally going to take over. If you just take a look at a couple of videos from Gary Vee, I love the thought that he has on this one, is that basically once Alexa and all the other like voice home agents are going to be so advanced that you can literally order food and basically do anything talking to them, it's gonna just exchange riding because it's so much faster. You can close your eyes, you can lay in bed and then be super sick and then just tell Alexa what to do, and basically it gets done. You can imagine any scenario. As you saw that just like 5-6 years ago, no one was sending voice messages. Now everybody is sending voice messages on the go, in the car, like whenever you cannot type. I think this is a huge industry that we are entering in with voice agents. And today we are actually going to build one. I'm going to show you how I built the one that I just showcased you and how you can build your very own. And well, let's see the back end, what happened after that call. So as you can see, the appointment got booked. Now it says updated, but because I did a few testing before this actually happened, that's why it's now updated. So basically you can see that it's January 23rd, 2025, 9 a.m. EST. It's very important that I implemented to check the time zone because, I mean, if you are a local business serving a local area, it might not be applicable for you. But if you are doing online business or you are doing like a national business where people can call you from all over the country or even abroad, then it's important to check the time zone because it can just misschedule calls. So that's what it actually did. And I said 3 p.m. Budapest time zone, which is 6 hours ahead of New York. That's why it booked for 9 a.m. EST. And I actually got a text message saying that your call is successfully booked. You'll receive confirmation shortly. And then I got an email. I will also show you shortly what happens if there was no available time. And I will also explain some more advanced options that you can do, but this is pretty good so far. So let's see the back end of what's actually happening in these cases. I go over to settings, then voice AI agents. As you can see, I have one single agent, Sally, who is my front desk manager, let's say, who is taking my calls. And this is an inbound agent. If you would like to create a new agent in GoHighLevel, this is an amazing tool to have AI employees just set up for multiple functions and roles and purposes. You can create an agent, you can set up an agent, you can tell the business name, it's generally going to be the same for you. You can tell the standard time zone where this agent operates out of. I generally always set up New York time zone, even if I work internationally, because that's kind of like a business hub and a lot of people are talking in EST. So that's why I'm always setting up as a baseline reference. It's always New York for me. Then you can select a voice, like what sound you want your agent to sound like, basically. I picked Sally, but you can listen all of that like Rebecca and then hit play and then listen what voice he or she has. Then you can select inbound. I'm super excited about outbound call agents, which is coming soon. So outbound calls are going to be even more exciting in the future because once you have a phone number, you can literally just implement an outbound call agent into your lead flow and then basically any business can launch outbound calls, which is, I think, probably 5 to 10x more valuable than actually inbound calls, because like the number of businesses and the types of businesses who have large amount of inbound calls are actually a little bit smaller, or maybe a lot smaller, but it's definitely smaller than the number of businesses who would want to do outbound calls, because inbound calls are generally customer service inquiries, book a call inquiries, and then companies who already have demand to their services and then traffic coming to their website. But then if you are just launching a paid ads campaign where you are collecting phone numbers, those people are pretty cold or can be pretty cold. But once you have their phone number, you can literally just launch a outbound call, and then you can just basically purchase a setter instead of like hiring people. So this is going to be even more exciting, but let's stick with what GoHighLevel has for now. So it's inbound calls. I select that one, and then you can just set what the initial welcome message should be. And then you hit next. And GoHighLevel's AI voice agent is for now a little bit limited, because the thing that GoHighLevel's agent is basically collecting data points. So for example, the agent is collecting name, email, and contacts issue, which is very generic. And also later on, when you are switching to advanced mode, you can update contact fields, and then you can add custom fields. So you can somewhat customize this, and that's what I did in this very example as well, is that I basically take out a summary of the call's transcript, and then I took out what date and time zone the caller wanted the appointment at. And then based on that, I was just able to set up a workflow and an automation that booked that call, actually. So that's what it can do for the moment, but I will go into that, for example, the agent were not able to check the availability of that date real time. It said, if you remember, it said that I'm going to check that date and send you a text message if it's available. If it's not available, I will give you alternatives. There are tools out there like Blend AI, for example, which I love a lot. And I've also built a system like an AI agent in that one. And that's way more customizable. But on the same token, it's way more complex as well. So GoHighLevel is really an entry point where you can really easily build an agent. And I am going to show 3 layers or like 3 levels in terms of complexity and customer experience that you can choose which one you want to build. So this is the simplest one. And I am going to also show you what happens if the date is not available, because now I consciously set a date where actually I knew that there will be an available date. So let's move on, and then we will see down the line what options you have and how it can be built out. So update contact field, basically you can update the fields here, and then by clicking on the add new field button, you can add the custom fields where you can store the transcript or the summary of the transcript or whatever you would like to have. You can build really complex like data collection systems here. And then you also have access by switching to the advanced mode. You also have access to the prompts itself. So now you can see that it's a relatively simple prompt that we have right now. I would not change this because GoHighLevel implemented these for a reason. But if you would want to extend the prompting, because let's say you would like to also have a call, then you need to start to add extra points. Like for example, if the caller would like to book a call with the company, then etc., etc. So basically you can prompt it in a way where if the intent of the caller is to book a call, then actually we can extract information such as this agent extracted information from me, which is date, time, and time zone, right, for the call. And so I can use that later on to actually book a call. But basically this is just extraction of information in one single call. And so that's the big difference compared to Blend AI or any other more advanced tool, is that the conversation is only one way, one time, which means that the agent is asking me questions, and once the questions are answered, the task is completed basically. And the agent is not checking in the backend real time, like if that is like a valid available date, or if the agent should give me some other alternatives. This is basically just the data collection. But this is already really good because at least there is like some sense of conversation going on. And if the date is actually available, it's fully automized. So that's really nice. And if the date is not available, that's when it gets really tricky. And that's when I'm going to show you what options you have to make it more streamlined and make the customer experience much, much better. I'm not going to finish this one because I already have a agent set up. This setup here, the way you can set up a new agent is very, very easy, very, very simple. You don't even have to use actually the advanced mode. You can switch back to basic mode and just literally collect the name, the email, and the issue. And then at least the prospect or the caller can talk to an agent and they feel like the company picked up the phone any time of the day. So that also gives a good feeling. This is one step ahead, this system that I'm showing you right now. But once this one is set up, You can see I'm coming in here to Sally. And then what happens is that I added some extra prompts. So for example, book a call is not mandatory, but if the caller is talking about booking a call, then help him book a call. Don't ask them if they want. So this is how I wanted to set up, for example. And then if the caller indicated that he or she wants to book a call, then collect information about when the preferred call should happen, collect time zone, date, and time. All three information is necessary to book a call. This is very important here. And do not consider the booking complete until you have all three data. So it will loop with you until the agent actually collects all three data from you. It's also important when the caller refers to today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, or something like that, which is kind of like a reference from today's date, then the system should understand what we are referring to. I put an example here. But for example, if I, as a human being, know that today is the 21st of January and it's a Monday, I know that I want to have a call this week. But if I just say I want to call this Friday, then the agent needs to have a reference like, okay, what day is today when the call actually happens? Because a lot of people just say, hey, this Friday or next Monday or something like that. The average human being is not going to say, I would like to have a call at 2025, January 23rd. Like, I don't even know what date is today necessarily. I just know that, oh, this Friday I actually have a slot at 3 p.m. So it's more like natural. It's a better customer experience. I highly recommend to implement something like this to fine tune that sort of customer experience. And so the most important part of the whole thing is that to save that communication or that core information into a custom field. So if you see that I saved out the transcript, but it's also very important that even if you set up a custom field for multiple lines, it's not going to save the entire conversation because the entire conversation might be too long. And if you don't say the date, time, and the time zone in the very beginning of the conversation, then it's not going to save at all because after, I think, like maybe 2, 3, 4, 500 characters, it's not going to save. It's just going to cut off. And then the most valuable information would come just afterwards. It's going to make sense in the workflows. You will understand in a second. But the thing that I'm doing here is that I'm saving out the date, time, and the time zone requested from the caller in text format. This is not yet formatted. The reason why I haven't yet formatted it, for example, in the prompt, is that I tested this a lot of times in GoHighLevel and it tends to not save this out properly or even just skip the entire custom field. So if I tell like an exact format how I would like to save it, sometimes it didn't do it. So it's much better if it saves the text as the agent understands and then later on we can format it in the automation. You will see just in a second. Yeah, so once this is done, let's see what other stuff is going on here. I would like to have an email notification. This is completely optional. If you want, you do it. If you don't, you don't. And then you should turn on, or I would rather say you must turn on the trigger workflow, and then we will trigger the request time date workflow that I've built. It's very, very important here because this is what does the rest of the job basically. And yeah, trigger workflow is basically the same. Send text message, we don't use this. And call transfer, if you are having a really complex ecosystem where you have like multiple departments and you would want to have like multiple people with multiple phone numbers, or I should rather say multiple AI agents with multiple phone numbers, then you can set up multiple departments and then basically just like transfer the caller between the agents, and then they can like take care of separate functions like book a call department or information about the company or HR or carrier or whatever you want, or sales department. But I think let's just start with one agent, and later on you can make it super complex with a lot of AI agents when you have it built out very much. I mean, you still have a lot of prompting opportunities here, but if you are running out of space in this prompt area, I think that's when it makes sense to make multiple agents and prompt them up separately, because the knowledge base that you are implementing in here might be really, really long. Like if you have a very long company description, what you do, and service description, you might want to just set up a separate AI agent who talks about what the company is doing. And then once the caller says, okay, that's interesting, I would like to have a call booked with this company. All right, let me transfer over you to Brian, for example. And then Brian would have just the book a call function. That's how I would imagine to work. But until you don't run out of these, I don't think that it's necessary. All right, so once the AI agent is set up and turned on and the automation actually started when the call is finished, then you gotta go back to automations. And here is what it looks like. So first of all, make sure that auto reentry is turned on, because once someone calls you back, then they should be able to go through this process. And then I start off with a ChatGPT prompt right away. You can use 4.0, but you can also use 4.0 mini. I tested both. Both of them are really smart at organizing like structures or formatting information. So I don't think that you have to overpay for 4.0. You can really just switch over to 0 mini. And then the prompt is basically that you are a professional date-time time zone analyzer and formatter, and the output should only be what I ask you from the task section. And then in the task section, I say analyze the transcript. This is basically the custom field that I used to save out the information after the call. So the AI agent saved out to this custom field where I just summarized the request basically. But the text in this custom field is not structurized yet. So for example, if someone said this Thursday 3 p.m. New York time or next week the 25th New York time, then it's not yet usable for automation purposes because I cannot input this into a book a call section later on. So for example, you can see here the recommended formats needs to be formatted in a way where the software understands what you actually want. So here I only have the unformatted version of the transcript or the date and what the person requested, and then I give it a step-by-step solution of what it should do. First of all, identify the time zone, date, and time. If the customer refers to day, tomorrow, etc., then it needs to identify like what that actually means in terms of date. And I also pulled in as a variable today's date, right now, middle median date, and then that gives a sense of timing, like what is happening right now. And the second step is going to be time zone from the transcript. It needs to identify what is the time zone. And then if the time zone was any other than New York time, then it needs to transform the whole date, time, and time zone into New York time zone. And then remember the requested date in New York time zone. It's very, very important. And then now you can give me the output, which is going to be in the following format. I just took out one of the formats which was recommended in later steps. And I gave it a couple of examples at the end. And then again, I told the AI that only respond with this, nothing else, because it can give you some strange answers like, hey, I could not transform this because of X, Y, and Z. This is called one-shot prompting, where you really don't want to give it any opportunity to go sideways. Like, I want one thing. You are a date-time formatter. I don't want anything else from you. I don't care about your opinion, anything else. Just I give you raw data and then give me back in a certain format. This is what I want. All right. Once I got this, I just update another custom field that I created, which is going to be the final formatted requested date for the call. Well, I should say that this final date time for the call in EST, but you understand what it's for. So I take out the response from ChatGPT from the previous step, and then I move along. So actually, we also have to format it very, very smartly, because if the caller have not requested a call, then the response is this character. It's a dash character. It's because then the if-else condition is going to notice that, well, there is no call booking required right now. So I just go this direction. And then I could go down the other branch and then say, okay, I am going to book a call or attempt to book a call for this contact field. It's very nice because the start date and time can be also pulled in from a custom field. And if it's properly formatted, then it's going to notice what the actual date should be. And as you saw in the beginning of the video, the call actually went through and happened. So it actually worked. And then I can just see if the booking is true or false, which means that the date was available, then it go down this route. And this is the message that we actually show in the beginning of the video. And then when it exits the automation, I just update the custom field into a dash. It's because if the person is coming back again with a call later at a later date, then it needs to be in a neutral state, because if it calls one of my agents, then the next time the caller might not request a call at that time. So I want to make sure that it's always at a neutral state. That's why I use the dash character. All right, what happens if the book a call was false? Then I go down the other route, which means that I have checked your requested time, Peter. Unfortunately, your requested time was not available at the moment. And then I send the caller, the person, my calendar link so they can book a call themselves. Well, so this is where the fun part starts, and this is where a lot of improvements can happen, because if the availability of the company is pretty limited, then this is going to be a very frequent event when the call is not going to be actually booked because the time was not available. And this is where the friction in the customer experience can be improved a lot. What do I mean by that? So for the first improvement, we still don't have to go out of GoHighLevel, which is pretty nice. We can use the so-called Eliza AI appointment booking action step, which is an AI specifically designed to book a call within text messages. So this is very nice because once I sent this message, I can just delete the last couple of rows where I don't send my actual calendar, but I put this caller on to the next step where this Eliza AI is talking to the person. It is just one step, and there is like a positive outcome and a negative outcome that the person booked a call or haven't booked a call. The nice thing about Eliza AI is that it can actually conversate back and forth with the person in text message and check your calendar in the backend real time, and then basically check available spots for him or her. So that's very nice about Eliza. What's not so nice is that recently GoHighLevel moved this out from the standard agency plan and moved up to the agency pro plan, which I don't have that right now. I only have the agency plan. But basically it's like from the $300 plan, you gotta go up to the $500 plan and you can build this out. So this could be the first step, which is fairly easy. You just have to pay a little extra every month, but the setup of that extra action step is very, very simple. You don't have to build like very, very complex logic jumps and stuff. It's just one step, you set it up, and then the AI conversates with the person back and forth in text messages. So this is one of the improvements. For the other improvement, you actually have to leave GoHighLevel, unfortunately, and find a tool which has different conversational pathways like Blend AI has. And I'm going to make a separate video about Blend AI because it's a really powerful tool. And for now, GoHighLevel can't do that very powerfully because it's really just a one-way, one-time data collecting what GoHighLevel does. But what Blend AI does, for example, is that I can extract an information from the caller, and then with webhooks, I can actually check in the calendar. So it can be hooked up by webhooks within GoHighLevel, and then the Blend AI agent can actually check if that certain spot is available, and then check all other availabilities, feed it back to Blend AI. And if it's not available, Blend AI agent can even offer you a couple of alternatives based on what the webhook response brought back, right? So that's a more smooth experience from the customer's point of view. And I think eventually that's what like every large operation would need to have a proper smooth conversations with, because if you have 1,000 calls a day or 500 calls a day, then it really makes a huge difference if you just can't go back and forth, but you actually have to go down to your phone and start texting basically from half of the conversation. So choosing the solution that you need right now is really a custom choice because, for example, if your calendar is so wide open and then the people who call you can basically book at any time, then you might not even need any Blend AI or any Eliza or anything. You basically just need this system implemented, and then most of your calls will be booked. If some of the calls won't be booked, that's also fine because you can still send a link to them, and then someone from your team can follow up with them in the conversations section of GoHighLevel. And then as a next step, maybe you can improve by just having Eliza AI and then go on Blend AI once these numbers are going up, where you really just have so many people who can book a call immediately. So well, that's one of my systems in GoHighLevel for inbound voice AI agents. I hope you did like it, and let me know in the comments what you think, how you would improve this. And if your business is getting a lot of inbound calls and you would like to have a similar system implemented in your business, then go down to the description and book a call with me. You will see the link below where you can book a call. Or if you would like to test this AI agent that I just called in the beginning of the video and go through a testing experience while you are booking a call, then I also dropped the phone number that you can call and test it out for yourself. See you in the next one.